Welcome to Talent Instinct, an electrifying space where we dive into how construction business owners revamp their hunt for top-tier talent by instinctivizing their efforts. It's time to spice up relying on systems and processes and discover prime insights on how to smartly apply their most important aspect, their instinct, as well as intellect, to pinpoint individuals who don't just fit in, but flourish. Let's face it, making the right hire for your business has never been more paramount. The stakes of the wrong hire can disrupt performance, profit, culture, and succession planning. Talent Instinct isn't about playing it safe. It's about conquering with calculated instinct. Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about sexual harassment. One of the reasons is because there's been some new legislation that has come into place, and we have already supposed to have implemented it into our businesses. And I am wanting to also talk about it because it's going to be, things are changing, and there's a lot more women that are getting into trades, which I love. I personally love having tradie women. I'm a big advocate in just having diversity in the workplace. Regardless, I think that it makes your team stronger and you get different points of view. It's a known fact that women and men brains work differently and bring different things to the way that we look at jobs and apply things. It is what it is. So I personally love having diversity on site. But one of the bigger things is that I wanted to talk about is that unfortunately we still have sexual harassment happening. Now, to give you an idea, in construction, there has still been 51% of women who have experienced sexual harassment at work. Now, on the 12th of December, a federal court granted a former production manager $268,000 in damages. I also just wanted to talk to you about the fact that now we really need to be a bit more careful on how things are going. Now, I can talk from personal experience, and this is across the board, not just in construction, but throughout my career, I have had at least one boss or colleague nearly through every job that I've had make sexual advances on me at one given time or another. Unfortunately, even in my job today as a business owner, I have had people, men being the operative thing, make comments or suggestions that are so inappropriate and not warranted, not asked for, and I certainly did not give them any indication that it was warranted or invited in any way, shape, or form. Now, the fact that I am in a management position, I am a boss, and sometimes it is coming from people that are working for me, absolutely astounds me. It astounds me that you can have the guts or think that it is okay to make those sorts of advances. Now, what's even worse is that I actually had a person or two make some comments to me and ask me what I had done to possibly encourage those advances. I would have hoped that in 2024, we had moved forward to understand that there are just people in life that go and make advances when they are really not invited and clearly don't understand what boundaries are or what certain behavior they should be doing. To me, it's like it was disgusting and it blew my mind. I cannot ignore that this stuff is going on because it's still happening to me even today. So, it's just crazy to me. The thing I want to talk to everyone about today is, one, have you taken on the new laws involved in sexual harassment and the procedures, because there is definitely some specific things that you need to have in place now to make sure that you are doing the right thing and that people are being supported. 2, are you also educating your staff on what is acceptable and what's not? So we talk about this all the time in terms of, bullying or harassment, or like even what you should just generally be doing with your staff. And I don't want to limit this conversation either to say just females get sexually harassed. Men do too. It goes across the board that it should be an inclusive conversation. And I think always when it comes to physical abuse, sexual abuse, it happens to both sexes. It is not one-sided discussion. So some of the things that I just think that need to be looked at, as I've heard from other people in the industry, other women in the industry as well. It might be a whistle, it might be a sexual explicit slur, it might be a suggestive comment, and people might think that that's funny, but it's not. I actually read a post the other day that someone was saying that whistling at a woman was a compliment, and if we could go back to those days, it would be much better. I'm sorry, I want to educate you. It was never, ever a compliment to have a whole heap of guys whistle you. It's actually very intimidating as a female, especially if you're by yourself. So let's put that into the forum of a female being at work, trying to do her best, and then someone making these comments and people thinking that it's funny and laughing. I've also had people stir up lies about me and say that, I'd hooked up with someone when I hadn't, and start some rumors. What are we? Are we 12? Can we grow up? And as a female trying to run a business, trying to do the right thing, the last thing I want is someone or people to think that here I am running around, and if I was doing it, it's my business. Don't get me wrong. I want to also sit there and say, if you as a female decide to do that, you're a grown adult, you can do whatever you want. But where it is out of place is that when people, males or females, decide that it is okay to make advances or make someone feel uncomfortable in their workplace when they shouldn't. So what we really need to do with these upcoming laws and things like that is make sure that we have the right things in place. So under the new WHS laws, a workplace means a place where work is carried out for a business or undertaking, and includes any place where a worker goes or is likely to be while at work. This means sexual harassment can happen at a worker's usual workplace, where a worker is working remotely, including if the person's workplace is their home, where the worker is engaging in a work-related activity such as conferences, training, work trips, work-related corporate events, or if you host a work-related social activity like a Christmas party, or by phone, email, or online, such as through social media platforms. Now, just to spell it out to people, we're going to talk about what sexual harassment can be, covert, subtle, or otherwise. Unwelcome touching, hugging, cornering, kissing, inappropriate staring or leering, suggestive comments or jokes, using suggestive or sexualized nicknames for co-workers, sexually explicit pictures, posters, or gifts, circulating sexually explicit material, persistent unwanted invitations to go out on dates, requests or sexual pressure, intrusive questions or comments about a person's private life or body, unnecessary familiarity, such as deliberately brushing up against a person, insults or taunts based on sex, sexual gestures or indecent exposure, following, watching, or loitering near another person, sexually explicit or indecent physical contact, sexually explicit or indecent emails, phone calls, text messages, or online interactions, repeated or inappropriate advances online, threatening to share intimate images or film without consent, and actual or attempted rape or sexual assault. Now, this all should be pretty sort of normal behavior in terms of you should know that this is wrong. This kind of behavior makes people feel uncomfortable, makes people not want to be there, and they should be able to come to work and feel comfortable and feel like they should be able to do their job. And it shouldn't matter what they're wearing or not wearing, what length their shorts are. This is not an invitation in any way, shape, or form for you to make a comment on their legs, their ass, or anything else of that nature, which I'm using those specifics because guess what? I've heard it. I've heard it before while I've been on site, which is terrible. I just shake my head and I pull people up on it and said, that's a human being you're talking about. I've had conversations where I unfortunately have had to pull people up and say, I and other people are your sister, your mother, your girlfriend, whatever, that should be treated with respect. I would ask you as people, please treat people how you want to be treated. I'm sure that none of you want to be treated with those sexual advances to be made that you can't do your job properly or you're uncomfortable and that you're not sure if you are in a safe environment. So I think that the best thing to do is to put some policies and procedures in place. You should be considering your workplace policies. I think you also should be identifying any risk factors. I think that you should also encourage workers to keep records and really also creating a culture where people know that it's unacceptable and that you do have people that are going to stand up to anyone that is making these comments and letting them know that it is not okay. So I have some resources and support services available if you need to go or you have suffered from sexual abuse or sexual discrimination, any of that sort of stuff. If you want to call 1-800-RESPECT, www.1800respect.org.au. The actual number is 1-800-737-732. There's also Safe Work Australia. It's www.safeworkaustralia.gov.au, and also the Lifeline, which is www.lifeline.org.au. If you ever need anything else, please feel free to reach out. We're always here to help and give advice and things like that. If you want to find out more, we also have a blog about it on siteforce.com.au. Please feel free to go and read that up. It's got lots of information about how you can deal with it as a business owner, or if again you have suffered from sexual harassment, different ways that you can handle it. Thanks for listening to Talent Instinct. I'm Chantal Penny, and if you want more razor sharp insider info on instinctivizing your hiring game, then hit the subscribe button. Oh, and remember to drop a killer rating and review. Please don't hold back. Spread the news to fellow construction business owners too. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and soak up all of my content, please do so by stalking us on Talent Instinct and my brainchild Siteforce Recruitment on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram.